Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so we're back working on the TDI, and here's where we're at. So I have the engine in, I have the clutch in, I have everything like that done. Engine mounts are in and solid, everything like that. On the agenda for this video, I would like to do the timing belt and the water pump. The water pump is down here and it's timing belt driven. It's kind of stupid, but it is the way that it is. The other thing that I would like to address is the steering, and I will get this thing up in the air and I'll show you. So the problem with the steering is actually the oil pan, as weird as that sounds. So I have all this torn apart, and this is literally just a link bar between the pitman arm for the power steering. All this does is link this side to this side. So there's a idler arm here that this hooks to, and the way that this bar is supposed to go is it's supposed to sit up here and those studs will go up in the arms there. So the problem is, because this is straight across, it hits on the oil pan. So what I'm gonna do is slice it here, and I have a whole bunch of round stock that I'm just gonna come down, over, and back up. Alrighty, so I got my bar marked here, which is a little extra than what I need because it's fully turned this way at the moment. So I got my bar marked here, and I got it marked here. I'm gonna chop off here, chop off here. All right, so I got this cut out, and so the only thing I'm gonna have to do is take that little tab off there and put it on the cutout place. But I now have this, which I can put up in here, and I'm still gonna have to trim the edges down, but essentially what this is gonna do is just lower the steering. So I'm gonna weld it there and there, but I'm gonna try and mark it and cut it. I'm gonna hold it up there, mark it, cut this, clean that up, and weld it on there, and hopefully it works. So I've got a rough measurement here. I don't think you can see the marks, but I'm gonna slice it up, and then we'll put it back up there. All right, I got this thing all mocked up. I'm gonna tack it up, look at it, make sure it's good. Probably cycle the steering back and forth and make sure that's good before I go too far. And if that works, I'll weld it up. Well, it ain't purty, but I think it'll hold. I hope so. If not, I'll be in the ditch somewhere. Put a whole bunch of gob on there and a whole bunch of gob on there. So I think it'll be good with those supports there. I'm gonna wait for it to cool off, toss it back up there, and then the steering should be done. I'm working on the timing belt right now, and I was a little confused about how to set top dead center because I couldn't find the mark on here. There's like a tiny little indent right there that you line that indent there up with on the crank pulley. And I watched the video and the guy online was like, hey, just take the #1 cylinder glow plug out and like gently stick something down there like this Allen key. Oh, I bent it. Oops. And then, you know, you slowly rotate the engine over and watch it come up. And the second it's like stops coming up and starts going back down, you want to find the very top there. And then that's how I was able to locate this mark here, because I wasn't able to see that until it was right there. And I was like, wait a minute, I think there's a mark there. So now I got to figure out, so this is the tensioner here. So I'm going to loosen this, pull the belt off. I'm going to go get the new belt and then I'll toss it on there. All right, so I was watching some video. They said you gotta find the pin for this, which I did. They say you have to lock the vacuum pump. I marked it, and when I pulled the belt off, it didn't move. So I guess you don't have to mark it. I don't know. Find out when we start it up at some point. Freaking blow the thing up. I have a new water pump for it. This one doesn't seem like it's in terrible shape, but I have one, so I may as well put it in. That's the tensioner. Where the water pump at? Oh, here we go. So I have a new water pump for it. So I'm gonna stab that in while I'm in here. And then I'll slap it all back together. Oh Lord, it's not new anymore. Anyway. All right, I was able to rotate the tensioner so it has a whole bunch more tension on it. Thankfully, they give you this fancy little Allen key right there. So you can toss an Allen key on it and kind of spin the tensioner the way that you want it to. This is probably in no way correct, but it is timed and the belt is tight and nothing's hitting in there, so gotta be fine. So should be good. So I'm gonna toss the cover back on there, the balancer back on there. And then I think we should be good. Steering bar in, timing belt done. So I got bored, messed with the torsion bars. Look at this thing, dude. It's gonna be sick. I'm a little worried that I'm gonna have to raise it back up to get it out of this bay because there's a big hill after this door. But if you ignore the back, I mean, holy cow, that thing's dumped. Honestly, too, the reason I wanted to do this was to check the clearance on the steering bar, and this is as low as it'll go. I mean, on these wheels, I have 15, so I have 15-inch steelies for it, and if I put like a smaller tire on it, it will lower the body. But I don't know that I really want to, because that'll change the wheel and tire gap. So I think I'm gonna stick with this height, and honestly, it looks pretty sick. Like, I think it's pretty low as is. So like my knees are at the bumper, so it's pretty low, but thing is looking sick. I needed some like mid-build motivation to really finish the thing up and get it running so I can actually drive it, but this thing's gonna be sick. I can't wait. All right, well, maybe this video will consist of more things, but if it doesn't, then that's it. Dude, it started. Yes, let's go, dude.